From quarantine, episode number 62 of the Get Your Ass to Work podcast, starting now. What's up, everyone? Yeah, we've got 30 more days of being indoors. Don't leave your house unless you absolutely have to. Only essential businesses are open, and unless you're grocery shopping, you might get a ticket and told to be a good little citizen and go hide in your home and stay there until Governor Sisolak says you can come back out. That's what's going on here in the state of Nevada right now. I'm sure everybody is feeling the misery, and it's not so much that we want to ignore the rules of trying to protect other people, but at the same time, people don't like being told what to do. I think it's really funny that so many people are filing for unemployment already, and by the time now, it's already been 2 weeks of no work. By the time we go back to work in another 30 days, it will have been 6 weeks since a lot of us have been able to go work. And just like anything else in the world, if you take 6 weeks off of going to the gym, if you take 6 weeks off of your diet, the chances that sometimes some people are going to go back to work, well, the chances aren't very good. People just aren't going to go back to work. And I think this is going to cause a huge housing foreclosure, short sale type of crisis. At the very least, the prices are going to come down. Now, I did hear some analysts say that people have so much equity in their homes right now that we're not going to have the same crisis because people have a lot of money, where in 05 and 06, that was a little bit different. I disagree. I don't care how much equity people have in their homes. They don't have jobs. And if they don't have jobs, then I'll tell you what's going to happen. They can't make their mortgage payments. And what do people tend to do? They tend to put things off, they panic, or they just freeze and they don't do anything. And so if people recall, it wasn't in 07 that this huge foreclosure short sale crisis really hit hard. Yes, it started then, but it went on for years. And it went on from 07 really until about 2014, 2015, when things really started to dry up for the short sale and REO. Why am I mentioning that? Because that is a 7-year span. From 2007 until 2014, that's 7 years. Now, it felt like it all happened overnight, where everybody lost their homes and we had all these families getting kicked out of their homes by banks, but it wasn't overnight. Now, things changed overnight and housing prices started to go down, but if you had owned your home since 1999 and by 2007, you had a ton of equity, and people still lost their homes because they stopped paying on them because the prices went so far down. And I think that's going to happen again, and this time, people did lose their jobs. This time, it wasn't just the housing crisis, the mortgage crisis. Everybody's at crisis this time. Every single company is more or less taking a huge hit of impact of zero revenue. We're talking about zero revenue for the last 2 weeks and now for another 30 days. How many people are not going to be able to reopen their doors when this happens, or are going to vastly underemploy in comparison to the amount of people that they once had? And if people are underemployed, people aren't going to be buying things. Look, I think things are about to change in a big way for our housing market, and at the very minimum, prices are going to go down. How bad? I don't know how bad. I hear doomsday numbers. I hear 20 million people are going to be unemployed. I hear the possibility that, 3 weeks ago, we heard that 1.2 to 2.4 million Americans were supposed to die of this virus. As of yesterday, it's down to we think 100,000 are going to die. So I don't know what the doomsday numbers are. I don't know what's really going to happen with the housing crisis. But I do know this. It takes a while for real estate to really, really lose value. Could that happen overnight? It could, because there are going to be a lot of people that aren't able to get loans. There are going to be a lot of people who were buyers and players in the market that are no longer in the market because the lending standards went up, because the credit standards to get a loan went up, because the interest rates for certain loans went up, because people can no longer finance 101 to 103% of their house anymore. They actually have to have a real down payment. And so I think the housing market's going to turn, and I think you need to be ready. And by being ready, I mean, if you're in a position where you think you are going to start missing mortgage payments, start talking to a professional real estate agent right away who you trust, that you think is going to give you solid advice. Because if you start missing mortgage payments, do not wait. Sell your home to get as much out of it, because they say once you miss a mortgage payment, something like 90% of people do not start making payments again and get caught up. That is a huge percentage. Look, you might be that 10%. I'm not saying you can't be. I hear all kinds of percentages all the time. I'm always trying to beat the odds. But if you think you're not going to be able to get caught up and you miss a mortgage payment, don't give up. Talk to a real estate professional right away. See about getting your home on the market so you can get every dollar of equity out of your house before the foreclosure process starts and they put your house out on the courthouse steps for some investor to buy it at a deep discount and turn around, put it back out on the market 30 days later and make $100,000 on the project. I see it happen all the time. In fact, it's kind of one of my missions is to stop those things from happening to people. I love stopping investors and I love stopping the banks from getting homes from people who have a lot of equity in their house, or even a little bit of equity, even $10,000 worth. I'd rather save that for you than the bank get it. So I don't know where this market's going, but all of the indicators are telling me we're headed for massive unemployment and it's going to be harder to get loans. The standards are going to tighten. That means there'll be less buyers in the market, and the buyers who are in the market are going to be able to afford less home. They'll be less qualified, and the inventory will go up. Because whether or not there's a ton of buyers, no matter if it's an up market or a down market, people always have to move. They always have to sell their home. So we will see. I believe the prices are going to come down. If you have any questions about the real estate market, if you have any questions about how to market as a real estate agent in this coming up market, let's talk. Let's talk about who we're targeting, who we're talking to, how we're being of service to people who probably need us the most right now. Thanks for listening. We will see you guys next week.